Welcome to the Racing Line Network. Welcome to race number 11 here at the Last Great Colosseum. It is Bristol Motor Speedway under the lights here for the Bristol 225 presented by On the Throttle. Welcome once again to the Bristol Motor Speedway. We are in the second half of this season. And boy, oh boy, well, this season it has been so far. Let's go ahead and bring up what we have in store coming into tonight in terms of the schedule. We are now finally on the right-hand side of the schedule. It only took, well, 10 races, technically 11. And we are, after this race, going to be 3 races away from the round of 12 starting at Homestead. A very unique playoff format as well, with 2 races being in each respective round, especially for the championship 4. But we have to get through tonight. We have to get through to October first as well. And, well, both literally and figuratively. First, we have to get to October, and we have to get to October 1st to move on into that section of the schedule. And coming into tonight, we have the championship format, or the championship standings for you, as 6 wins on the season for Brian McCann, Cameron Sarton 2 wins, 1 win for Zachary Lovelace, and then everybody else still fighting it out for the top 12 positions. Namely, if you look around, exactly 12th and 13th, it's Philip Chavez and Doug Pierce, separated by only 6 points. Philip Chavez and Doug Pierce are racing tonight as well, so we're going to be seeing them battle out for the 12th place position. But again, still a few races left. Coming into tonight, this league has ran this track throughout the entire existence, and you'll see on the bottom right-hand side all of the previous race winners. It is Andrew Medlin, Cameron Sarton, I believe that is Cole's last name I'm not going to pronounce. Zachary Hall has won, Ross Tatum has won, and so has Ken Campbell. The only name that is, in my opinion, notable and missing is, I was about to say Brian McCann. Nope, I am correct. So we'll see if Brian McCann can get 3 in a row, because I don't believe he has done so just yet. We're going to go ahead and move on into your starting grid for tonight's event. The qualifying is over and finished, with 14 cars planning to take the grid for tonight's race. I should double check. Has Brian McCann gotten 3 in a row? No, he's only gotten 2 in a row. So we'll see how things fare. It looks like he does have a challenge ahead of him, because starting on the front row is going to be the number 1 machine of Cameron Sarton, starting off with a time of 14.888. And then Hunter Karsten will be starting off on row, or position number 2 to his outside, starting off in the 13th place position. Field just about to roll off. 14.899, just 0.011 seconds back from Cameron Sarton. That close to getting the pole position. Row 2 holds Michael Thorpe Jr. and William Duff. Again, very close lap times. Keep an eye on those as we go through your starting grid on these next couple pace laps. Rounding out the top 5 is Zachary Johnson, and Brian McCann, with the exact same time, starts off in 6th. That time has gone down to the 10,000ths of a second. Tony Brent, also thousandths of a second away from jumping both of those drivers at the 15.049. He starts in 7th. 8th place is Jonathan Burt. 9th place holds Travis Dart, with 10th place being rounded out by Doug Pierce. 11th place is Larry Griffin. 12th place, the 101 of Philip Chavez. And then rounding out the field is Ryan Lynch in the number 3, and Zachary Lovelace, who did not set a lap time. The field about to be released. In control of the number 1 of Cameron Sarton. Bristol 225, presented by On the Throttle, is Green Flag Racing here at Bristol. That first lap being led by Cameron Sarton, but as we ride on board Michael Thorpe Jr., he is sitting directly in the tire tracks behind Cameron Sarton, trying to find every which way around, dives to the inside in turn number 3. Especially here at Bristol, both lanes are viable, and just by thousandths of a second, 0.015 seconds. Once the gap at the start-finish line, Michael Thorpe Jr. is in the lead. Stage tonight. Stage will be ending at lap 125. So the 100 laps to go. We'll see where these drivers stand. Just like that, being released from the clutches of the existence of Cameron Sarton in a sense, Michael Thorpe Jr. is setting a gap between himself and the rest of the field. You see the 6 of Jonathan Burt running up top on the outside, diving back down to the inside to get the momentum off turn number 2, trying to make some sort of a challenge on the 28 of Tony Brent, who is almost mathematically more than comfortable in terms of making it into the top 12, but again, mathematically, he's not exactly have a chance, including this race. There's still 200 points up for grabs in between tonight's race, including the stages, and the completion of Talladega. Again, also including the stages. 50 points for first place. Correction, 10 points for first place in the stage, and then 40 points for first place if they win, plus a lock-in. So, now technically it's 49 times 4 for second place. Actually, it might even be 35. I might have to double check the math on that one. Regardless, Tony Brent trying to chase down Trey Jackson for the 6th place position, actually. Number 5 sitting in 6th place as they make their way off turn number 4. In the meantime, as we ride on board, I'll be double checking my math here for the point standings format. I was wrong. It's 45 points maximum in terms of not including a win for being mathematically locked in. 45 points for a win. Oh my goodness. 10 points for the stage, 35 points for second place, times 4 races is 180 points. So, Tony Brent just has to be pretty much solid in this race, and he should be fine, I believe. Plus 180 points is what he has to be coming into this race. I'll have to pull up the points format once again, and our data, as we see just in the distant background here, 26 of Travis Start was getting passed on the inside by 26th. Man, I'm all sorts out of whack. Apparently, this is what happens when you turn on the lights on the racetrack. Who would have thought? Travis Start passed by on the inside of Jonathan Burt for 8th place. There we go. Jonathan Burt trying to run the outside lane, but not working too well. You see the gap. We've been paying attention. Cameron Sarton has been left in the dust by 1.8 seconds and is currently fluctuating around there. So Michael Thorpe Jr. just continues to pull away. Look at Jonathan Burt trying to make the outside lane work, but it's just way too early for anything to happen here. He's trying to rubber in the outside lane all on his own, hoping that a few other drivers will start to follow suit. Oh, and an early caution. The yellow is out. It's the 77 of Larry Griffin on the inside. The entire front end of that car is severely damaged. You can't necessarily see it, but there is smoke pouring out of the engine there. In fact, it may have just been tire smoke, and if it was, I'd say he is quite lucky if it is just tire smoke, but even still, that is heavy damage. So let's see what happened to the 77 here off of turn number 4. And the camera mounted on the bottom of the giant TV screens. It wasn't this lap, it was the next lap, I believe. Yeah, it definitely was this outside of turn 4. So did he get loose? What had happened here to the 77? No, he just lost grip on the inside and wham! Front goes the car straight into the inside wall. Brings out our first caution. Interestingly enough, it looks like pretty much all but 2 cars are on pit road, and this camera is not the best look to see that. Here's William Duff. He's second on pit road. There's Cameron Sarton. 2 drivers did not pit. You see that on the timing tower, luckily. All but 2. Michael Thorpe Jr. and Hunter Carson do not think it is viable enough to pit 20 laps in. I can definitely understand why, but we'll see how things fare. First off, Cameron Sarton. Second off, just barely Ryan Lynch, William Duff, Brian McCann, Trey Jackson. Drag race between Dart and Tony Brent, Jonathan Burt, Doug Pierce, and the 101 of Philip Chavez. And they are those drivers that exit pit road in that order. It's the dual lane pit layout. You may see that blue line there on the apron. That means it is a dual pit lane, so everyone has to enter on the back straightaway. Correction, everyone has to enter pit road at the exit of turn number 2. And then they have to exit here in turn 1. So they have to go all the way around. We'll see how things fare here for Thorpe and Karsten. The only 2 drivers thinking, yeah, we don't need to pit. Meanwhile, the entire rest of the field has said otherwise. By the way, for one reason or another, Lovelace was, I believe, originally planning to run, but I don't believe he's even joined in the session. In fact, he had disconnected earlier, so potentially some prior sudden commitments had come up. The lights are out on the pace car. That means only one thing, that we will be going green this time by, being led by the 34 of Michael Thorpe Jr. I was about to bring it up as well. Now is a good time as any. Tony Brent coming into this race is plus 149 points, so he could mathematically lock himself in. Same maybe goes for Travis Starr. We'll see how things fare in the meantime. 180 points at the moment, as of this race, is the point where you can mathematically lock yourself in without needing a win. Oh, Cameron Sarton spins off turn number 4, hits the inside wall barely. Wow. I saw that as we all saw that as it happened. He just lost grip the second he exited the corner. The upper lane just was not ready. And now he's paid the price. Some right rear damage, a rare mistake from Cameron Sarton. Wow. Luckily, Sarton has 2 wins, so he doesn't have much to worry about. But even still, that is an absolute shock. This is on the restart. Let's ride on board here in car with Cameron Sarton. Just completely lost grip off turn 4. So I'm on board the gyro cam here. And he even backed out, hit the throttle, and that probably saved him from heading into the inside wall at a higher rate of speed, but that is very unexpected. Already a second caution here, and still, well, a few drivers have gone to pit road. Travis Start, Philip Chavez, Doug Pierce has not gone to pit road. Cameron Sarton, of course, has gone to pit road. He will repair his damage. But Michael Thorpe Jr. and Hunter Karsten have not gone to pit road. I find that very fascinating. They've essentially gotten a reprieve of sorts. Start and Chavez quickly down and away, no doubt fuel only. With 4.5 and 4.9 second stops. Wait a minute, Travis Start has gone back into pit road. I wonder why. I know he was just in pit road, unless this is just now his second time entering pit road. I'll have to wait and see what timing and scoring says here. I think this is his third time entering pit road. Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if he wanted to make sure he was topped off on fuel. Did he maybe decide he wanted to get tires? No, just topping off on fuel again, 4.4 seconds. And yeah, that's his third trip through pit road. So he pit twice under the yellow here. That is fascinating. As we run on board the pace car here, the lights no doubt about to turn off as we see Hunter Karsten very eagerly getting up to the outside lane. As the lights go out on the pace car, Thorpe once again choosing the inside, and well, considering what just happened with Cameron Sarton, I'm not surprised. I would also choose the inside lane. I don't think, I'm starting to think that everyone else had a little bit of a valid point here when they had decided to not go to the top side so early on. It worked out for Jonathan Burt once the tires got warmed up mainly, but did not work out for Cameron Sarton on tires that still need to be heated up. Pace car dives to pit road.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag flies. Once again, Karsten does not technically get going on the outside lane, but to be fair, it works out for him. He goes right back to the inside lane, falls in line. William Duff sits here in third, Ryan Lynch fourth. That's going to be a battle for fifth between Brian McCann and potentially Trey Jackson, as well as, I was about to say, everybody else. And, well, Brian McCann is just going to say, yeah, no, you guys battle for fifth. I'm going to check out. So Tony Brent moves to the inside lane. He goes to fifth. Ryan Lynch falls back on the outside lane. Jonathan Burt as well, trying to utilize the outside lane. Lynch trying to use the middle. It's not exactly working out in his favor, though, to say the least. Seventh place goes to Philip Chavez at the start-finish line. Cameron Sarton trying to make his way back through the field. Jonathan Burt relents from the outside lane, goes to the inside, side by side with the three of Lynch. A little bit of a slide from the six, but he does hold on to it. Goes right back up to the outside lane. Travis Start as well will go to the inside, so not the best restart for Ryan Lynch, although Chavez, Sarton, and Dart are all on 7-lap fresher tires. It is side by side between Hunter Karsten and William Duff. William Duff had not pit since the first caution that we had, and that has paid the price for Hunter Karsten. He'll fall back to third.
Caution, yellow flag.
Down the caution is out, and that is why. It's a 39 of Doug Pierce on the inside lane off turn number 2. I was about to go through the drivers that had previously stopped and what their strategies were, because we were on very different strategies, but all of that has just come to a halt. That was not the right transition. Let's try that one more time, but with feeling. Is on board the 39 of Doug Pierce. Oh, he almost had it too. Oh, wow. Whoa, the 77 of Griffin had nowhere to go. Well, no wonder the yellow came out. Oh, and he slid too. Oh, that's... Oh, man. Larry Griffin has just spent 6 minutes sitting in pit road for repairs. Slides trying to avoid Doug Pierce, and, well, we see how that had played out. Nowhere to go. Tried to brake suddenly, and that just threw the car around. Man. I can definitely empathize where it's just... You don't really want to continue on. Surprisingly, Larry Griffin is continuing on, at least to the best of his abilities. The right front tire, however, has protested, to say the least, because it is not moving. Last 4 cars are in pit road, and I would not be surprised if that is day done for the 77. Coming to Bristol, hope for the best, and, well... Bristol has decided otherwise. So I would not be surprised if Griffin decides to pull behind the virtual garage. Or pull it into the virtual garage and just call it a day done. We'll keep you updated on that. He has overshot his pit box by a few feet. It's on the telemetry that he had reversed a little bit. But we'll see how things fare, especially for... a certain Michael Thorpe Jr., who's the only driver now to have not gone to pit road this race. And you know what? Considering the amount of cautions we've had so far, I'm not surprised. The tire is not exactly under the most stress to ever exist. Shadow Star has commented saying, I don't think it was the hot track making them loose. And I, for one, agree. There might be some voice communications that I'm very drastically missing. And voice communications that we cannot air for, well, that we cannot air. Voice communications that we cannot air unfiltered, to say the least, for obvious reasons. But don't worry, we're not the FIA. We're not going to make them serve community service. That's a reference for probably one of the 2 F1 viewers who are probably watching this. Someone's going to be watching with the green flag is the 34 of Michael Thorpe, same for the 17 of William Duff. We'll see how things go here on this restart. Brad McCann has made his way up through the field. Tony Brent snuck his way up to 4th place as well through all of that. Kel Chavez snuck his way up to 5th. Cautions aside, we definitely have a very scrambled field, a little bit more than normal, I would say. You know, we have some drivers that are consistently around the top 5, like your Tony Brents, your Brian McCanns. This is great for William Duff, though. Let's show the live championship points here. And if Michael Thorpe were to win this race, he'd lock himself in. Tony Brent, I think, would mathematically lock himself in. I'll have to do some quick math on that, but it seems to possibly be the case. Chris Essery is not here. Larry Griffin is. Not exactly under threat, Larry Griffin, so hypothetically, if he really wants to, and I wouldn't blame him, he could repair the car. Or, correction, she should just pull behind the garage, but we'll see what he decides to do in the meantime. I want to gain a couple of points on Chris Chavez here for this battle for 12th in the point standings. I also mentioned Doug Pierce was around there. He came in plus 6 points. Now Doug Pierce is plus 12 points. Watching this battle between Hunter Karsten and Trey Jackson for the 7th place position. Karsten to the outside, trying to make the higher lane work. A bold decision considering how things have fared, but he does have worn tires. And look at that, gets the pass done for 7th. Meanwhile, back up front, William Duff holding strong against Brian McCann. Then again, the sentence of a driver holding strong against Brian McCann is something I never thought I would say this season. Especially considering how McCann has been setting the charts alight. Lap time comparison between these two. Correction, the top three. William Duff was the fastest, and in fact, we can show you the previous lap times of the start-finish line as these drivers cross the line. So if you want to see Thorpe, Duff, and McCann's lap times as they cross the line, you can compare them on the from the timing tower, and a little bit of a slide, maybe just a more narrow exit from William Duff. You can see how close all these drivers are. Top 5 average of 15.34 seconds, I want to say. Meanwhile, in the back, Jonathan Burr has gotten passed by Tony Brent on the outside for the 4th place position. Number 6 car goes back to position 5. I will say, this is a fantastic average estimate here for on the throttle. Of course, a league-affiliated sponsor, not affiliated directly with the Racing Line Network, but still, regardless, oh, wait a minute, Tony Brent's connection may have just dropped. He has not been officially kicked out of the session, but a rare internet issue for Tony Brent. I'll go through what I was about to say here in a second. I'll go through here what I was about to say is that you'll see the sponsors of Bug Kicker, On the Throttle, and Team Watson Racing setups on the top left timing bubble cycling throughout the night. You can also find the links to the affiliate links from the league in the description below as well, in case any of them interest you. Butt Kicker, of course, is specialized in motion rigs and whatnot. There's Tony Brent. He has decided to come back into existence on the apron. At least he's doing his best attempt to. We'll see how things fare. He does have damage by the looks of it. Oh, this might be a caution. He might have damage, actually. I think what had happened... Did he get damage? In his time away from existence. Oh, no. We might have had the commentaries, of course, 2 weeks in a row here. That car is crab walking. That is for sure. On the Throttle is more focused on podcasts as well as social media in general. You can find the links below. Not same goes for, but you can find the links below for Team Watson Racing setups as well. We will show you the respective commercials later on this evening, provided we get a chance to. When we are following the now existing 28 of Tony Brent, you can see we have missed the pass between William Duff and Brian McCann for second, but William Duff still holding strong in third place. And currently in the position that Tony Brent is in, he'd be 393 points. Has already been passed by Doug Pierce, who's only one lap down. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything about mathematical elimination or guarantees. Regardless, as we sit on this battle for 7th place, let's go ahead and ride on board the one of Cameron Sarton around Bristol. Seeing these drivers fly off into turn number 3. Off turn number 4, they're approaching the lap traffic of Doug Pierce. He is currently 2 laps down. Larry Griffin and Tony Brent still staying in their pit stalls. They have not pulled it into the garage and called it a done day. So still a chance that they could gain a couple extra points in their favor going into Kansas for next week. Something I never thought I would see is Shadow Stark being stuck behind another driver. Correction, Cameron Sarton being stuck behind another driver. And somebody's not going to be stuck behind Michael Thorpe Jr. for long. He is the 8 of Brian McCann, who gets the door closed on. I don't know if that's a grammatically correct sentence, but regardless, Thorpe is defending hard. And I do not blame him, forcing Brian McCann to run higher and higher up. And here's, I was about to say it's a crossover, but surprisingly, no crossover between the two drivers. McCann not exactly willing to dive to the inside lane. Apparently, thanks for the statistic as well from Josh Bird, is that that is now more cautions in this one race than we had all season. That is very true. That's something I never thought. Well, maybe Daytona. I'll have to double check on that one, though. I don't think Daytona had that many cautions either, but in a way, it kind of felt like it. We'll have to double check. Which I will do here in the meantime. And shockingly, Brian McCann has faltered on pace a little bit. May have burned up the right side tire a little bit. And look at Jonathan Bird. Not only is he up to 4th, he's going to be up to 3rd here. He's going to go around the outside of William Duff. These drivers, Brian McCann, Jonathan Bird, William Duff would all pit on the same lap. So this is quite fascinating. Hunter Karsten is on 20-ish lap fresher tires. He'll make his way around the outside of William Duff. William Duff may have also burnt off his tires a little bit. Brian McCann may have recovered his tire overheat. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and look back at Daytona's statistics. In the meantime, 34 Michael Thorpe Jr. is defending so hard against Brian McCann. He's being very bold for leaving the outside lane open, thinking that the 8 of McCann won't get a run. And of course, now when I say that, he gets a run on the outside off turn number 4. It is side by side here, Bristol for the lead. And just like that, no, it's not all said and done just yet. Thorpe is going to fight back here on the inside lane, but going around the top side, which now seems to be preferred, is Brian McCann. Thorpe is going to try and fight back on the inside lane, but no dice in turns 1 and 2. And meanwhile, it's going to be a battle for third place here between Jonathan Burt and Hunter Karsten. There we go. Now we got the stats for Daytona. It was 4 cautions. Jonathan Burt running way up top after getting passed by Hunter Karsten. 2 weeks in a row for Karsten. He is back in the top 3 positions. A lot of comers and goers here. Now let's check back with the next portion of the field. Cameron Sarton is leading in the 5th place position. Leading this group more accurately, Philip Chavez, Travis Stark following suit in 6th and 7th. William Duff, his lap times have started to falter here as the runs have worn on. Tires not agreeing too much with his car. To the inside goes Travis Start on Philip Chavez. Just like that, easy pass for the number 26. Hunter Karsten has caught up to Michael Thorpe Jr., another driver who may be starting to suffer from some tire fall off. To the inside goes Hunter Karsten. Dare I say, for the first time since, not including the restart at least, but under raw pace, the first time, I think, since 5 flags. I see Hunter Karsten up here in 2nd. I could be wrong. I may have seen him in 2nd last week at Nashville, but there's so much chaos there. So forgive me if I have misremembered. So I have double checked for this race. We have got 3 cautions. So let's see how things fare in the next portions of this race. Side by side between Jonathan Burt and Michael Thorpe Jr. now for 3rd place as they enter turns 3 and 4. Drag race off turn number 4. Position goes up to Jonathan Burt. Looks like the outside lane might finally be starting to come into his own. Same for Cameron Sarton. Looks like he's finally found his, I guess for lack of a better phrase, sea legs or concrete tires. Oh, Michael Thorpe has decided to go to pit road on lap 100. Not sure if that's by choice. But regardless, Thorpe is now in pit road. He has finally called it after 100 laps, saying, alright, I can't stay out any longer. But a very promising drive for what we could see later on. It's just the downside is that this is under green flag conditions. It is so painful to sit around here to drive at 35 miles an hour all the way around, and there's your pit box. Luckily, stops in his pit box, so now we have to see where is Doug Pierce. Back straightaway. Potentially soon to be making his way through turn 74. Look at the top of the screen here. We might see Doug Pierce go by. Yep, there he goes. I think Tony Brent has just made his way to pit road. He has 30 laps down. And oh, by the way, 47 laps down is Larry Griffin. He's still running as well. Nothing but props to Larry Griffin. And just behind him is the battle for 3rd place, because Cameron Sarton has just gotten by Jonathan Burt. So again, a lot of Not sure what the word I'm looking for. I guess cycling in a sense. Shuffling. That's the word I'm looking for. There we go. Similar vein. A lot of shuffling going on throughout the field. It's about to continue here for 6th place, I think, because Philip Chavez is about to be under fire from Trey Jackson, who has set his sights on 6th place. Again, stage ends lap 125. So again, at 100 laps to go is when we award stage points. Shout out to Race Control Steve Benjamin, who's been, well, of course, Race Control throughout the entire portion of the season. Luckily, hasn't had to do much except announce the halfway point, 10 laps to go stage. And that's pretty much it. Cleared the occasional black flags in practice. Otherwise, I'd say in a good way, he hasn't had to do much. Michael Thorpe Jr. has gotten by Doug Pierce, and that will put him in 10th. That will put him in prime position for one extra point. 1 point being in the stage. Tony Brent repairing some extra damage. May have had a run-in with the outside wall. Not sure. Position's going to be trading here between Trey Jackson and Philip Chavez. 6-lap tire difference, give or take. 7-lap tire difference. Philip Chavez with a fresher set of tires, but Trey Jackson has managed the tires in the short run, it seems, in order to extend here for the long run. And dare I say, it's working pretty well so far. Ryan Lynch looming in the background in 8th place in case anything does happen. We are now officially halfway through the race. And unfortunately for Tony Brent, he has called it a day. As spotter David McConnell has also called it a day as well. Tony Brent, unfortunately, to a shock, I would say, the most consistent driver to not win in the series, arguably, has decided to call it. Bristol was too much. Wonderful, get any reasoning. My guess is too much damage to the 28 machine. Just made it undrivable at that point. He was so close to making it to halfway too. Now, this is very intriguing. With 10 laps to go in the stage, Hunter Karsten has ran down Brian McCann. And he knows it too. That car's bobbling off turn number 2. He is chasing down that number 8 machine. Chavez and Lynch swapping positions for 7th. We're going to keep an eye on this battle. Now, stage points for Brian McCann don't necessarily matter, so he can afford to not win a stage, and it will not affect him. There are no playoff points for the stage. It is just regular points. The only time playoff points are awarded is when you win, and that's 3 playoff points. There are end of regular season playoff points, but that's about it. There are no playoff points for the stage win. So this is all just based on pure points alone, and this could help out Hunter Karsten a huge amount. William Duff and Doug Pierce trading positions for 10th. Again, we still continue to keep an eye on this battle for first. Karsten has caught up. He is on 19-lap fresher tires than Brian McCann. In fact, this is going to be a very intriguing thing here. Michael Thorpe Jr. pit at 100 laps. Brian McCann and Jonathan Burt are just now this lap hitting 100 laps. So now I see, did Thorpe pit because he had to? Did he pit because he wanted to? Well, correction, had to based on tire wear rather than had to based on fuel. Despite being on 19 to 20 lap older tires, Brian McCann is still holding strong enough for Hunter Karsten to opt for the inside lane here. 2 laps to go in the stage, this time by. And we have all of this in P6 to look ahead for. Final lap in the stage. No caution will be at the end of the stage, just points being awarded. And by the looks of this, Hunter Carson has said, all right, you get the stage win, but just know that I was there. Brian McCann wins the stage, Hunter Carson second. Third place is Cameron Sargent, Jonathan Burt, Ryan Lynch fourth and fifth, and we have a drag race here. Wow. Go ahead and get the points awarded in our fancy little spreadsheets, so you're able to keep up with all the points awarded. I think we're just waiting for Michael Thorpe Jr. and Doug Pierce to cross the line with their respective lap 125s. Just give them a fair shake. Here's Doug Pierce on the same lap as William Duff, who is all on the opposite side of the racetrack. So Doug Pierce, pretty safe if you ask me. Michael Thorpe Jr. is about to make his way past the lead group. He is now one lap down. 26-lap-old tires, and this may have helped Hunter Karsten. He'll go to the inside lane. Just makes contact with Brian McCann off turn 4. They both save it. Both of them were practically about to have pointed towards the inside wall and have their days ended, but Karsten was there. Scrapes the outside wall of turn 4. Don't push too hard. But he knows now that he was there. He was able to catch. He was able to get to the inside. He was able to get alongside. And that is exactly what matters. Side by side for safe between Philip Chavez and Trey Jackson. Both these drivers, unlike what we just saw with Karsten McCann, both of them just washed up to the outside, made contact off turn 4. The juxtaposition between these two giving each other respectable amounts of space. Trey Jackson will fall back to 7th. Chavez able to pull ahead. So now as the run continues on, one would start to think, when would the point be where an undercut is viable? Rather than just running your fuel out to the end, why not try a bit of an undercut? I feel like some of these drivers on alternative strategies could maybe try to make something work here. We'll see. In fact, let us take a look at the last pit stop lap. So last time these drivers went to pit road. Whoa, wait a minute. I think Brian McCann wanted to go to pit road, but he missed pit entry. He was slow on the apron. Now he's not out of gas. Now he's going to come to pit road. Well, if I was Hunter Carson, I would take a very close look at that and pit just a lap after, just to be on the same lap. Cameron Sargent also goes to pit road. Do we see the... No, we don't. What is it? Do we see Trey Jackson go to pit road? But no. No, we do not. Ooh, a driver has just gone to pit road. That is Travis Dart. Now, where is Hunter Karsten? All the way on the other side of the racetrack. And now he is going to come to pit road. Well, get your calculators out, everybody. The crew chiefs are definitely doing the same, that's for sure. Ryan Lynch goes into the lead. Phil Chavez in the pit road. Michael Thorpe Jr. cruising along, making sure that he will get unlapped here. No doubt. So where in all of this is Brian McCann? He is exiting pit road on the back straightaway. Turn 3. Now, where is Hunter Karsten? Where is Hunter Karsten? There he is. So he's 2 laps ahead. Ryan Lynch, the only driver yet to pit the entire field, in an unprecedented manner, is 1 lap down. Does Ryan Lynch try and stay out? He's maybe looking to go with pit road this time by. A lot of position shuffling going on here. So here's Hunter Carson. He is already out of pit road. 2 laps down. Brian McCann on the opposite side of the racetrack, also 2 laps down. He will get the net lead, I believe. Net P2 is Cameron Sargent. Out technicality, net P3 is Hunter Carson, because William Duff is 25 laps since he last pit. So Michael Thorpe Jr. on the lead lap. Ryan Lynch has not yet pit. Still. I think he's going to try and just bank on the caution, but I don't know. 104 laps. We'll see how everything cycles out, but Brian McCann is about to unlap himself the old-fashioned way, and that's just drive right by the leader. Trying to start in Doug Pierce. Trade positions for 8th. Ryan Lynch, no doubt, hoping for a caution here at this point. And that caution has not come out. Does Ryan Lynch continue to stretch it? Because everyone except for Michael Thorpe Jr. is all 1 or more laps down. Just keeping a very close eye here on Ryan Lynch. Michael Thorpe Jr. is 50 laps fresher tires. So I do wonder. Of course, Thorpe is going to cycle his way through. But not the rate that Brian McCann is going through, I'm sure. Not the rate that everybody else is going around Ryan Lynch. And these are only drivers that are unlapping themselves from 2 laps down to 1 lap down. Michael Thorpe Jr. is closing by 0.5 a lap. I don't know if that would be enough, but he is making a caution, Ryan Lynch. And if that happens, then only 1 driver gets a lap back. Karsten and Sarton potentially soon to be doing battle here for 4th place. Here's Michael Thorpe Jr. closing the gap between himself and Ryan Lynch. In fact, let's go on board here. So front stretch, and also the front stretch, and slightly the outside wall for Brian McCann. So McCann's not too far behind. And props to Ryan Lynch, though, for attempting to stretch this as much as possible. Hoping for a caution. We've only had 3 so far. Michael Thorpe Jr. is still closing the gap, still by about 5 to 6 tenths per lap. And here you see Brian McCann 1 lap down. And Lynch is banking hard on this last caution. I'll see if the caution does come out, but I don't know. Jonathan Burt unlaps himself, puts himself 1 lap down as opposed to 2. Travis Start also about to unlap himself from 2 laps down to 1 lap down. Trey Jackson about to do the same. And yet through all of this, hanging tough is Ryan Lynch. Something's going to have to give. Is it going to be Ryan Lynch? Is it going to be somebody else? At this rate, it might be somebody else. Jonathan Burt and Doug Pierce nearly make contact in turns 1 and 2. And then, you know what? If I get the inner monologue of any driver of being in a almost similar situation, I'm pretty sure that Ryan Lynch was thinking, wreck, 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 wreck. But that didn't happen. take a look at the track map here that we have. So Brian McCann is ahead of Michael Thorpe Jr., physically on track rather. But I think the times are starting to come down here between the two. I don't know. More specifically, I think the times are starting to come down between McCann and Lynch. I say that, but Brian McCann is about to... What time is he setting? Where is he? He's on the back straightaway. Well, the last time by the start-finish line... Yeah, you know, we'll just wait for this time by. This time by the start-finish line, 16.602 versus McCann's 15.770. Thorpe in the middle of that for 16.099. Brian McCann is about to put himself on the lead lap with a little bit of a slide for extra bonus points off turn number 4. Something I would never think I would see as a driver holding out this much. It's been 124 laps since Ryan Lynch has last hit his pit box. He will let Brian McCann by. He's not going to fight him. Cameron Sarton as well is closed up. Same with Hunter Karsten. He's behind both these drivers. Lynch will let all 3 drivers go. And now 5 cars are on the lead lap. Does Ryan Lynch cave? Does he go to pit road? I don't know. 126 laps after starting 13th. Effectively, well, last. I don't blame him for setting up here. He is saving. He is saving as best he can. That's right on board. So quiet for the 3. Let's listen. You can kind of hear it fall off. Let's see if we can get it in turn 3. Yeah, it's just the wind. Yeah, it's just silent for the 3 car. Only on the straightaways you can hear the engine. Right there, it's just the wind of the car passing by the camera. No engine to be heard on the corners. Michael Thorpe Jr. has closed the gap between himself and Brian McCann. The lap time comparison, here's the start-finish line, so this helps a lot. 16.175 for Thorpe. And then for Brian McCann, he's still quite a ways back. 15.782. So I believe roughly, what, 0.6 of a second difference? Jonathan Burt, William Duff side by side for 7th. I was about to say, at some point we have gone to a side by side so we can get the championship standings update, but we haven't even done that yet. We haven't added the stage points, nothing. Because of how compelling this is. Well, a driver that's about to return to the lead, running the outside lane, and even coasting is still managing to barely defend, just barely defend, is Ryan Lynch. But Michael Thorpe Jr. has gone back into the lead. And dare I ask the question of, how long will that last? And the reason why I ask that question, it has been 76 laps since Michael Thorpe Jr. has went, 77 laps since Michael Thorpe Jr. has gone to pit road. There's been 40 laps since Brian McCann has gone to pit road. Obviously, thanks to Ryan Lynch, he has shown that, yes, it is possible to make it to the end with his 138 lap run now. Still banking on the caution. I don't blame him. Is it viable is the next question. And now we have to, unfortunately, turn our focus to the gap between Michael Thorpe Jr. and Brian McCann. In the meantime, we will add our the standings at the line. Oh, sliding off turn 4. Nope, that's turn 2. But Thorpe is pushing, that is for sure. Bobbling out of every corner. In Nashville last week at the fairgrounds, he learned the hard way pushing the rear tires too much. He had to pit early, I believe in the first heat. "43 laps to go," and just I can't really do anything else but watch here. Thorpe 3 wide. 2 cars to his inside, trying to unlap themselves. Bobbling mid-corners at 34, nearly making contact are the 17 and the 5. And they are battling for position as well. And Thorpe still continues to slide off on the top side. And he's still sliding off the corner. And just like that. Oh no, Thorpe is going to slide, drifts on the inside lane, just hangs on to it. To the lead goes Brian McCann. Through goes Cameron Sarton, and through goes Hunter Karsten. Karsten has come alive on the short tracks here. I mean, just last week, Karsten had finished in 3rd place. This week he wants to do, no doubt, 2 spots better. He has 2 lap fresher tires than the 2 cars in front of him. So at this point, it's just going to be on pure pace rather than anything else. Yeah, Tony Brent has confirmed it was internet. Tony, if you are still here, actually, impromptu voice-to-text interview. Did you get damaged? Is that why you had retired, or is it just the internet issues? Because it looked like you had some damage there on some portion of your car when you popped back in. Brian McCann being, I don't know if I should say held up by lap traffic, but has the inside lane being taken away from him by lap traffic. William Duffield Chavez battling it out for 9th place. Hunter Karsten lurking in case anything does happen. We'll see how things fare. Position trade for 5th place, and well off the pace is Michael Thorpe Jr. burning up the rear tires, nearly slides up into the 6 of Jonathan Burt. And those rear tires crying out enough for Michael Thorpe to say, all right, I go to pit road. For the lead is Cameron Sarton and Brian McCann side by side with 30 laps to go here at Bristol. 31 laps to go. Never mind. I thought that was a 1 at the corner of my eye. But the 1 on track is about to be in position number 1. That is if he can get by the 8 of McCann. Could, for the, 3rd time this season, could the 3 in a row for Brian McCann be broken? The chance of getting 3 in a row. No driver this season has gotten 3 wins in a row. McCann's been the closest 3 separate times. with 2 wins back to back, but he's never gotten 3 wins in a row. And maybe once again broken by Cameron Sarton. These two running side by side, 28 laps to go from line. And still, much like at Dover, neither lane has necessarily prevailed, and even more so here at Bristol, and even more so under the lights, where neither driver is going to be relenting here for these last 27 laps. Sarton falls back on the inside lane, back in line. To the inside lane once again. Tries to follow in line. Will he try and go to the inside? Will he follow? He's going to follow. Sitting directly on top of the back gearbox. The back bumper. Cameron Sarton's trying to find a lane that doesn't really exist on the top side. Dives to the inside. Slides. Seen a race control message saying double sticks 2 to go, and I got a little bit terrified. Might have been the mispress by race control. That terrified me for a second. Luckily for these drivers, they have 23 laps more to fight it out for the lead. Hunter Carson in the background has gotten by Philip Chavez. Firmly in the lead. That time by was Cameron Sarton, but by how much? It was 3/4 of a car length. And now, does he clear going into turn 3? He does. This has brought in Hunter Carson again, 2-lap fresher tires on the number 13. Considering these two have been racing side by side so much, we might have a third contender for the win here. All 3 drivers utilizing the outside lane. Karsten dives to the inside on the middle off-corner exit. Can't get to the inside just yet of that number 8 machine. Cameron Sarton has set out now that he's gotten by Brian McCann. And there's still so much more to play for here. Position swap for 5th. Travis Stark goes up to 5th. Ryan Lynch down to 6th. After holding out for so long, in fact, he's still been holding out for so long. Hold on a second. I just realized Ryan Lynch has not yet gone to pit road. Ryan Lynch has not pit for 167 laps. He's fallen to 7th now. He is saving still. I figured when he started saving, it was all the way over and done with. He'd be pitting eventually, but no, he is hardcore coasting, trying to get to the end. I think same with Larry Griffin. There's the leader, Cameron Sarton. Brian McCann in 2nd, Hunter Karsten in 3rd. 15 laps at the line. Is Cameron Sarton saving? Wait, hold on a minute. Is that Sarton or is that the 3 of Lynch? That was Lynch. Okay, okay. I heard the sound of revs dissipating. That was the 3 of Ryan Lynch. He's just that close to the camera, apparently. "13 laps to go. The 13 of Hunter Karsten really trying to find every single which way to get by. Michael Thorpe Jr. as well is about to slice his way through. He's on fresher tires. He pit. 16 laps to go. About to put himself 2 laps down. Unlap himself the old-fashioned way once again. Wouldn't be the first time. He knows he has the pace. He'll go by as the lead cars run the outside lane. He'll run the inside. Michael Thorpe Jr. on a fresh set of tires. puts himself 2 laps down, gets by Cameron Sarton. Hunter Carson's tires may have started to give out as well. But he has closed the gap. He is here for the 2nd week in a row. He is in prime contention to potentially score a win in case anything happens. 10 laps to go. Well, 9.5. Or is it 8.5? Yeah, well, 8 laps to go at the line. Side by side, potentially between Trey Jackson and Travis Start here in a second. There's Michael Thorpe Jr. once again, making his way through. Trey Jackson trying to find a way by the 26 of Travis Start for the 5th place position here. Start running the middle lane, proving it quite difficult for Trey Jackson. Jackson says, well, no, and moves to the inside lane. And we got the leaders behind them as well. Can't make a move to the inside, can't make it stick. These drivers 1 lap apart on their strategy. 82 laps to go. Travis Start went to pit road. 81 laps to go. Trey Jackson went to pit road. Although this lap, Trey Jackson didn't hit the outside wall ever so slightly. It seems to be no harm, no foul for the 26. There's Cameron Sarton. Spun on the restart. Damaged the right rear quarter panel. And throughout all of that, somehow has made his way into the lead with 3 laps to go. Cameron Sarton crosses the line for 2 laps to go. These laps taking by so quickly. In case anything's going to happen, it has to happen now or never. It looks to be the latter. It will potentially be, yes, never. White flag, this time by for the 1 of Cameron Sarton. After spinning on a restart, damaging his quarter panel, sitting in pit road for longer than anybody, basically. Cameron Sarton has won under the lights here at Bristol, breaking the potential 3-time win streak, a 3-in-a-row streak of Brian McCann. And again, I say, wow, 3rd win of the season for this number 1 machine. And near contact being made in the background. And rightfully so, and just for good measure, sure, why not crunch the other side of the back bumper? It crushed the right-hand side. You didn't need it then, clearly don't need the other side now. What a victory. They'll burn it down. Rightfully so here at Bristol on the front straightaway. I'll go ahead and give you your finishing results here at Bristol. Cameron Sarton with a, I don't know if shock victory is exactly the right word, but a surprise victory. Surprise performance. Well, I guess I'll go with a surprise victory. Maybe not a shock. Of course, it's Cameron Sarton. He's shown that he has the pace to contend for the lead, but a victory nonetheless for the number 1 machine. 3rd one of the season over Brian McCann. Hunter Carson once again has snuck his way into 3rd place. Jonathan Burt with a 4th place finish. May have bumped my microphone there. Apologies for that. Jonathan Burt with a 4th place finish here this week. I don't believe, let's see, he's gotten 7th, He's been roughly around the bottom of the top 10, so I believe it might be his first top 5 of the season. I'll have to double check that, but good on Jonathan Burt for that. Good on Texas Speed as well, especially after last week where Texas Speed did not have such good luck. Travis Dart finishing 5th, consistent as always. Trey Jackson finishes in 6th. Phil Chavez 7th. Ryan Lynch has finished 8th. William Duff 9th, where on the Throttle Racing just somehow, some way, seem to find themselves running in a 1-2-esque position on the bottom portion of the top 10, but still top 10s nonetheless. Michael Thorpe Jr. finishes in 10th, and the rest of the field. Doug Pierce finishes in 11th. Larry Griffin, after running into so much bad luck, still finishes under power. 49 laps down, but still finishes regardless. Only 2 DNFs, well, 1 DNF, that being Tony Brent due to internet issues and then eventually damage, I believe, during said internet issues. And then Zachary Lovelace, who for one reason or another, did not start this event. He was scheduled to start. He was going to start, but sometime during practice, he had pulled out for reasons that we do not know. But regardless, those are your finishing results. We will be back here momentarily to give you your post-race interviews here of your top 3. We won't be going anywhere, and you get to have this wonderful image of a drone flying around the Colossus here at Bristol. We'll be back in a few moments.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
We are back here under the lights at the Bristol Motor Speedway for the Full Send Racing Series. The top 3 drivers here about to be interviewed, and what a race it was. 3 cautions this race, nearly equaling the most amount of cautions that we had so far this season, which is 4 only at Daytona. So we almost got there. Luckily, that is a record that has not been broken. I think somebody who doesn't want a record broken is this man, our 3rd place finisher, that being the number 13 of Hunter Carson. I'm pretty sure he does not want to uh, forget or not want to stop finishing in the top three, especially with these short tracks now. Everything has just gone in your favor by the looks of it.
Yeah, I sort of got like a good strategy. Once I got passed by two guys on fresher tires, I just decided to pit. And I don't understand how I'm fast at these short tracks. I feel like it's one of my biggest struggle points with racing, and I think I've just finally stepped up my game and I'm decently quick.
Especially considering now more than ever, I'd say it's pretty good timing, very coincidental. I mean, back at Five Flags, granted it was uh, quote unquote just the clash, but that still showed the perspective, not the perspective, but the potential that you had coming into a race like this. So it definitely played out in your favor, especially. So another third place finish. And well, next on we move to Kansas. But before we go ahead and talk about Kansas, you mentioned you got passed by two guys on fresher tires, or older tires. Regardless, it's still two lap difference. So you were pretty much hanging there with the best, but it seemed like just around the end, much like when their tires started to fall off after they stopped going side by side, your tires also started to fall off.
Yeah, they started to fall off. I was just being a little greedy on exit and using too much of my right front. But other than that, like they held on pretty good. I did a lot better tire saving than I typically do. Um, but still need to get better in that aspect. But we're we're moving in the right direction.
Speaking of moving in the right direction, just double checking here in terms of points. So unofficially, I guess that would be the word. Yeah, unofficially, says not been updated yet, has it? Oh, that's very unfortunate. Well, regardless, let's see. You should be, I think, about eighth or so, somewhere around Michael Thorpe Jr. In terms of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th, 8th. Yeah, so about 8th place. So still firmly in the top 12. So nothing to fret over, luckily, going into Kansas for next week.
Yeah, I think we're sitting solid in the standings and should have a decent route to the playoffs. And we'll see how Kansas goes. I've always been struggling there, especially running the top. But we'll see how it goes. I say that every week, but then I return here. So we'll see how it goes next week.
That might just be your what's the word? I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for is, but that is definitely true. I think it's like a sleeper agent phrase or something is what it is. So every time you see that, you just somehow manage the top three. So hopefully it does go well. Before we go ahead and let you go celebrate your third place finish, go ahead and shout out who gets it done for you for the number 13.
Yeah, I'd like to thank 24 Social, 24 Speed. They've been longtime partners still. They have been supporting me ever since I really started getting into leagues and whatnot. And 213 Simware and HC Sim Shots.
We're going to go ahead and let you go. Congratulations once again, Hunter, on your third place finish, and we hope to talk to you again next week.
All right, thank you.
That is third place finisher Hunter Karsten. Second place finisher, definitely not the first time that he's heard the phrase the second place finisher, but probably more disappointed once again. Again, you've been thwarted the ever so fabled 3 in a row at this point. Brian McCann sits here in the second place position, but still, I mean, you have 6 wins. I think you're fine, but even still, a very good race for you regardless. A very fun battle between yourself and Sarton near the end, much akin to Dover, except this week, you guys had multiple lanes to work with.
Yeah, early on I liked that low side, and that seemed to be a pretty good line. But you can run that top side for a while and be a little bit quicker. But I think the top side just burned the tire too much.
And that would explain the fall off, especially quite strange though, especially considering that everyone kind of migrated to the outside lane a little bit later on, especially like very, very late into this race. But regardless, still a good finish for you, very solid. So your thoughts heading into, actually, let me double check the track temperature because I don't think it was too bad tonight. I say that, yeah, it wasn't too bad, I don't think. 73 degrees Fahrenheit for track temperature. So luckily you guys weren't dealing with 1,520 degree track temperature, especially even more so under the lights. So I'm not sure the closest comparison I can make here, but go ahead and explain the feeling that you had with the tires and the car handling under the lights here at Bristol versus the short tracks we've had so far this season.
Early in the run, and I mean like 40, 50 laps or whatever, it run the bottom side real good and just around there like you know, like you were on train tracks. But then eventually the right rear would just give out, and that's probably why a lot of us was moving to the top just to get a little quicker line off with a little bit more throttle. But that started killing your right front, so it's kind of a trade-off. You know, which one do you want to burn up, right front or right rear?
Once again, we head into Kansas next week, a track where the top side is pretty much, well, the lane to run, and even more so, especially with a day race that time. Go ahead and walk us through your thoughts and potential practicing for next week at Kansas.
Yeah, I like Kansas. That top groove, I really love the top groove tracks. So, you know, hopefully that works out there, and we'll see what we can do.
Well, before we go ahead and let you go, you know the usual at this point. Go ahead and shout out who gets it done for you for that number 8.
My family, everybody who makes this happen, the league admins, race control, you for doing the broadcast, drivers for showing up. Thank you. Jones Paints and Designs, Repeat 1975, my spotter, and everybody in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you for your time as well. We have to talk to you. Well, we probably will talk to you again next week. So we'll see you at Kansas.
Bye.
That is second place finisher Brian McCann. I say that, and considering that I'm 2-0 for commentary jinxes, it might not go too well. A thing that did go well, however, is this man, the number 1 of Cameron Sarton. While I say that, it went mostly well, save for that one restart where the outside lane had done the equivalent of pulling out the tablecloth in an attempt of magic trick and breaking all of the glassware on the table.
Yeah, I don't remember that restart. Yeah, hadn't really ran the top line yet, and tried it out in 3 and 4 on fresh cold tires, and it was ice slick. So it did not work, and luckily I saved it pretty good to where I didn't get a ton of damage. Was able to get majority of it fixed, and drove my way all the way back to the front. So that was that was very fun. A good battle with Brian there. So oof, I'm a little whipped. It was pretty stressful, but it was fun.
I'd also brought up to Brian that luckily for this race, the battle you had side by side with him was much akin to Dover, except this race you guys had actual different lanes to work with this time, rather than Dover being, well, Dover, where you can kind of run the middle, but the track will say no and force you to run pretty much to the inside lane as much as possible.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I hadn't ran Bristol that much, and with the new kind of Xfinity car they have on here, it's if it was the bottom was really dominant, and all of a sudden, like, it was almost kind of like real life. Like once the top kind of got rubbered in, you couldn't really run the bottom at all, or especially get speed off the exit. So you could kind of, but at the same time you could, so you can kind of run like 3 lines. So you just kind of pick your poison and hope it sticks. So it was a little sketchy on 110 lap tires there. So it was pretty fun. So it's fun that a fixed setup can produce that racing, because usually it does not on this service, but tonight it did.
It definitely worked well in pretty much everybody's favor, especially for you, where at the end of the race on the burnout, you decide to crush the left rear quarter panel on the outside wall, as opposed to just to make up for the damage of the right rear quarter panel on the inside wall. But regardless, we head to Kansas for next week, a top line dominant track, and something that I find very unique and should probably run at some point this week if I am able to, because somehow for me, Kansas is, I think, relatively decent. I have a lot of fun there. I know that much.
Yeah, the open set's been fun there this week, so I've had a couple good runs. So hopefully we can continue the momentum up, and hopefully not dig myself in a hole. It's kind of nice being out in front and chilling, not having to worry about anything, and hopefully we can do that.
You say hoping to not dig yourself into a hole. I think you're fine. You have 3 wins, but I do get what you're referring to,
Yeah.
especially with the restart. Yeah. Oh, especially with tires too. Yeah. It's kind of important to not do that, to keep the rubber on the tires, of course, by the end of the race. After the race is fair
Yeah.
game. But you know the deal by this point. Before I go ahead and let you go, anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, mom, dad, grandma for watching, staying up late, and Travis, yourself up in the booth, and I went for John since he wasn't here, and he was too busy eating dinner too late. So hopefully, like I said, stay out of trouble next week and just kind of have a nice cruising win up top.
Hopefully that will be the case. Thanks once again for your time as well.
Yeah, thanks, man.
That is race winner Cameron Sarton, 3rd time this season, and for the 3rd time this season as well. I'm gonna have to double check. I'm gonna do something a little bit impromptu here. Let's take out the lower third real quick and throw up the schedule real quick. Let's see, Brian McCann, Cameron Sarton, Brian McCann, Cameron Sarton. This is the 3rd time in a row. Oh man, now I wish I looked beforehand. But this is the 3rd time in a row where Brian McCann could have gotten 3 in a row, but it was thwarted by Cameron Sarton. That's kind of hilarious, actually. So I wonder if we'll. I like this little pattern we have here. So we have Andrew Medlin, who was the first race winner of the season. Brian McCann won twice. Then it was Cameron Sarton. Then Zachary Lovelace won at the Red Bull Ring, locked himself in. Brian McCann won twice. Cameron Sarton won. Brian McCann won twice. Cameron Sarton won tonight. That will get updated for next week. So if this pattern recognition is something to go off of, hypothetically, we could have a, was it 1, 2, 3? No, 1, 2. Yeah, a 3rd winner to break up the McCann-Sarton win pattern, I think. Well, 1 driver, actually, because I guess Sarton can't. Well, no, not really. I'm trying to think about this a bit too hard, but hopefully everyone understands what I'm going for. The point standings are not yet updated. We will have that on the either, if not tonight, on the community tab, then next week at Kansas, but hopefully it should be tonight on the community tab, just a little bit after this broadcast. So for now, that does it for tonight from the Bristol Motor Speedway. Next week we head to the ever so fun Kansas Speedway for next week's race, and we hope to see you next week there on the Racing Line Network for 133 laps. The top side is going to be the fun side, but will the outside wall start to fight back for some drivers that decide to get a little bit too ambitious? That is the question we'll be seeing next week. How will the track temperatures fare is a second question as well, especially since we're running in the daylight. We'll see how things go next week in October. We are getting closer and closer to the final stretch of the season, and we hope to see you next week along with us here on the Racing Lane Network. Good night from the Bristol Motor Speedway.